Good evening, and we are live. So, hello everybody. Good evening. Bit of a change in scenery to begin with, in terms of who's on. So, Jay will be on soon. Give him some stick because he's been doing some maintenance this evening, and he messaged about 15 minutes ago to say he was having a bit of a mare. So I'm not too sure what he's done, but he's having a mare. So he will join us once he's finished his maintenance and has calmed down a little bit. You've got a familiar on face with me. Johnny was coming on anyway, thankfully, to talk about a couple of things this evening. So welcome, Johnny.
Hello, you okay?
Yeah, really well. Yeah, really good. A bit of lastminute.com as always. And and Steve will hopefully be joining us at some point. He has had to go to Wales. I think it's Wales. Or he had to go somewhere. He messaged about an hour or two ago. So he's hoping to get back in time to jump on, and then hopefully we can hear him. But we'll wait and see. So that's an update there, and Ross still not with us, but hopefully you've seen Ross's video from last week. Had a lot going on in his life, a lot of positive stuff, to be fair, in terms of going over to Germany and working over there and going backwards, forwards between that and Scotland, and then having
he's been busy, hasn't he?
He has been a busy lad, that's for sure. And now he's got a bouncing boy. So congratulations to him. So before I do the usual and go through the chat and say hello to everyone, right, Johnny. So what's going on? So you've got two tanks behind you. I know one of them got a different light, hasn't it?
Yeah. So if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen I posted one of my Evergrows had failed, which took out half the light on my tank. Bit of a nightmare. I had to move a lot of corals over into the light. Thankfully, it allowed me to get rid of some pests and enemies, which was quite a surprise. They didn't like the shadow and basically just came loose, and I managed to take about 15 out, which was nice. But yeah, I couldn't find a power supply for the Evergrows. I'd contacted RAD Aquatics, my usual guy. But I think, long story short, Evergrow's just been sold to a US company. So they're between transitions, so it's going to be months before I could get a power supply. Which is obviously not good. So yeah, I've made the call to upgrade to some Ecotech Radian XR30s. So I've got two, probably easier if I go this way. I've got two over the tank now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm impressed with them. I love the app. So much easier.
What, the Mobius app?
Yeah. Well, the Evergrows, you had a remote control, and then you had basically to configure each half an hour segment. So for each half an hour segment, you had to configure 6 spectrums of light, at each channel.
Yeah.
So it'd take you probably an hour and a half to create your first schedule. And obviously if your battery goes in your remote, then you've got to redo it. So it was a pain.
So wow. So because I've heard good things about Evergrow that in terms of good lights, but the app is not the best in the world, or not a remote control. So what you're saying is you have to do a setting every 30 minutes. So in effect, you have to do 48 settings to do a whole 24 hours, basically. Even if it was, you just do it for it's on and then you say off, so therefore you just program when it's going to be on.
Yeah, so there's, like you said, there's 48 parameters to configure, but for each of them, there's 6 different LEDs to configure as well. So you might want more blues in the morning, so you're turning certain ones down each half an hour schedule.
Yeah.
It was improvement over the last sort of evolution of Evergrows, which was the IT20s. They only had 1 hour segments, so you didn't get that nice transition that you could allow for with the new IT50s.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sad to let them go. I've been a big fan. I've still got one, hang on, that way, on my anemone tank. So that's a 5060, which is 0.6 meter wide. But yeah, so I didn't want to invest in basically replacing the Evergrow if I can't get spurs for them. It didn't seem logical. There's no guarantee spurs are going to come later, so I just thought, you know what, let's take the plunge.
Yeah.
So I'd rather not have done, but yeah, I think I've made the right decision.
Yeah, and I'm really intrigued about your NEM tank because I forgot you had a NEM tank, and as you may have known, I'm starting to move this over to a NEM tank. So how's that going? What's the setup? So I'm just intrigued to kind of compare notes really, because I'm a complete newbie when it comes to NEMS. I think I'm about 5 weeks in.
Right. Okay. So that, hang on, I'll have to get used to this. That tank is basically plumbed into the sump on the 750. So it's got its own return pump. I think I mentioned this last time I was on.
Remember now. Yeah.
But yeah, the flow in there is very slow compared to the main display. NEMS don't like a great deal of flow. If you do give them more flow, they will bubble up more, though. That's worth noting. But I preferred the longer tentacles and it filling the space more than sort of them getting more bubbly and kind of, contracting in a bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got a pair of clowns in there and one other clown that they seem to tolerate. It's weird that seems to always be the case. I had more clowns in my main tank, but I ended up with a pair and one they tolerate. So I don't know whether it's that dominance thing. They'll allow one, but you try and add more than one, they'll eventually kill it off. So it's there's 3 in that tank basically, and then 3 in my display tank, clowns wise. But yeah, I've had quite a few different NEMS in there over the years. I think at one stage I had about 9 different species, or maybe 8 different species of NEM in there. But they're not all compatible. That's the problem. I was just
about to say I've done a little bit of research, not a lot, but what I've read is that some are not compatible. And do they release toxins to the others, or do they sting the others? I haven't got enough into it to know it by fact. But when I start adding different ones, I'll have a look to see if they're compatible with the bubble tips that I've got.
Yeah, I think I was told. I think it was Signature Frags who told me they've got sort of a bacterial. I don't know whether it's bacterial or some sort of a coating on them that is different, or the bacterias don't always sort of like each other. If you get the same species, I think the bacterias must be a bit more similar or the same, so they're compatible. But yeah, it's I do like that tank. The breeding in there, the clowns as well.
That's brilliant.
Never get any fry, as you'd expect. I've tried harvesting them, but yeah, it's never worked.
I tried that in the tank that's got the floating aquascape. I put a pot in and they were laying eggs, and the most I got to was about 7 days. So basically what I did, I kept it in the water. I can't remember how many days now you have to let them go for. And then I take the pot out in some water, put it in another small tank, put an air pump in there so the eggs are just moving around, because obviously they need the aeration to carry on. But it just didn't work. I ended up running out of food, because you need a hell. I think it was rotifers you're supposed to make. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And I had loads of rotifiers and phyto and everything else. And I must have tried probably about 6 or 7 batches. And I was getting up in the middle of the night. And in the end, I must admit, I threw the towel in on it one day, because like the thought of raising fry, I think it must be a fantastic feeling to take them from the the little silver with the black eyes, and then they go into a tank, and then you move them on. And I would have loved to have done that, but I must admit, I'd run out of inclination. To be fair, it's so much like hard work, and kept on killing the ammonia. You have to kind of clean the bottom of the tank and everything else.
It's another thing to look after, isn't it? I found that. I don't think I fed them at night, which is where maybe I went wrong then. I did everything I was told to do, but it didn't work. And I did actually 3D print a plant pot and put it in there, and they've not gone anywhere near it. They prefer laying just behind my Magnifica NEMS. Maybe that's some sort of protection.
I suppose once NEMS in there, maybe they do that. I don't know. So just a quick question. So Mickey boy, Jay is running late. He's done some maintenance earlier on. I don't know how earlier on, probably not earlier on. And he's had a bit of a nightmare. Mickey, or anyone, don't know what that means, but he will be joining us once he's sorted himself out. So he's on. And Steve's been called away. I think he's in Wales, on his way back from Wales. So I'm hoping Steve will join at some point later on. Johnny had already agreed to come on, because there was a couple of things I wanted to discuss with Johnny this evening. So I asked Johnny to jump on at 8 o'clock. Otherwise, I would have been on my own. And I must admit, I didn't fancy that. And no, I don't think he's putting the shopping away or having a takeaway Haley in this occasion. That has been known. In Jay's terms, he's had a disaster. It could mean he spilt a little bit of water. You never know, Jay, whether he's doing something for dramatic effect or whether he's generally got an issue. And I haven't heard him. He said he would be a little bit late. But again, his definition of late and on time is slightly to be desired, shall we say, on that side. But who knows? Yes, with Johnny. So yes, Mickey boy, I am left holding the baby. So anyway,
and I'm not the best at this, so yeah, no, excuse me.
You're doing fine. So let's go through who is around, and then there's a couple of things I want to dig into, if I may. So Yo-Yo of the Russell, good to see you, Russell. Hiya, John. Simple Reef Life, like the Zoas in the logo, very good. Hiya, MK Reefer. Haley's in the house, as always. Thank you. UKM 120, the Reef Port, welcome. All the way from Yorkshire, Cornwall, the Cornish Reefer. Rigsy 69, good evening to you. Hiya, Stuart. Good to see you in the house. Hi, Julie. Yes, Drippy, there will be an update on Love2reef, and you know what the update is, I think. Marek, good evening to you. Mr. Techers, how are you, sir? Hi, Woody. Hope you're well. Sky Marine, welcome. Mr. Scott, hope you're doing well. I've got your Volcano Zoas. They're popping heads, and I know we're going to exchange at some point. Cots Reef, good evening to you. Hiya, Tony of the 76 Marsh, good evening. Another Haley's in the house. Hi, Haley. Joanne Fox, welcome as always. We're just coming down towards the end. Hiya, Mickey.
I don't know how you remember all these names.
No, I've seen it I can see it on the screen. But yeah, there's loads of these people we see every week, and it's brilliant. Dan's Reef One, good evening to you. Mickey, hopefully you can see now, because I know you just had a black screen. You're just going to join back. All good now. So good,
he's
good,
back. Mickey boy.
Yeah. Coral Essentials Europe. Hiya, Phil. Good evening, Connor. And I'm thinking we're coming towards the end. So yeah, we're at the end. So welcome to everyone. Thank you for joining as always. I'm going to hold on a few minutes before I talk about the event, because I know I'm just Jay to hear. Otherwise, I only have to repeat it when it comes back on. So, Johnny, one of the things I wanted to talk about with yourself was what's going on with the Radians. So I know that we talked about this, I think about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I think it was a post on Instagram, and I reached out to you because I think it was Jay or one of the guys who saw it, and it was around some shades that you've got for the Radians. So I thought, pull you on, because it'd be better for you to explain it and go through it than for us to just look at some pictures. So do you just want to tell everyone about kind of what you've done and how it's come about? And
so we've been put in touch with a company in America called 3D Reefing, who, I think they pretty much came up with the 3D printed design shades back in 2018, which is, quite a while ago, really, for this game. They wanted us to manufacture in the UK and EU, under like a royalty system, and bring the products to this local market and try and save some shipping, really, for customers and expand his business over here and on our business. So yeah, I said, yeah, okay. I think I quite underestimated what I was getting into. Way up.
Hiya. Hi, Steve.
How's it going?
Yeah, really good. We just started talking about, 3 or 4 weeks ago, we spoke about aquaprint and the shades that Johnny's made him for the XR. Well, for the Radiant.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, those ones.
I brought Johnny on because we talked about it, and we talked, didn't we, about getting Johnny on to talk about it. So he's just started off. So We're back over to Johnny, then I'll come back to
looking forward to it.
If that's all right.
Yeah. So I'll catch you up, Steve. So just I think we spoke about this at Crackner though. So we were approached by a US company, 3D Reefing. We agreed to it. Sounded like quite an exciting thing to get into. We've had quite a few requests for shades and never really been something we've done. Half of the battle is getting the equipment to design these things. So we pick our fights. And I got into it, and then it's quite a learning curve. I'll tell you what. To get the finish on the products that Mo, who runs 3D Reefing in America, is achieving, it's been like going back to school, to be honest with you. Our products don't typically require that sort of finish. Like functional items and things like that. So it's. I'm trying to think how long we've been at this now, really, before we released them. It was probably about 4 weeks from when we started trying to print it to when we released them. Lots of issues, trying to recreate something. Mo's equipment's a lot more upgraded and probably advanced than ours. But we got there in the end after probably 2 rolls of filament with waste and quite a bit of effort. Mo's helped me along the way. We now released them to the market. So we've got a few really. Got some for the AI range, the Prime, the Hydras. And we've also got them for the Radians, the XR15, and shortly be releasing the XR30s, which are, the first ones we printed over here as tests are on my XR30s that you know about. So it's been good. This is the fun bit, really, tinkering and solving problems. I
think it's brilliant from an innovation perspective. I know that obviously someone else has done it, but the opportunity then to share that around other parts of other continents for then someone else to make those on other people's behalf and sell them is pretty good. So I'm assuming as the shades, that obviously holds the light more within the certain range. So does it improve the part because are you bouncing the light back in rather it's spreading wider?
It's a good question, and I'm hoping to get my hands on a par meter to answer that. I'll wait till I've done that test before I answer that. I think. I think there's potentially it could. There's reflections from inside the shade, but time will tell. I mean, the biggest, I suppose, advantage of them is light spill into the room. I mean, it's probably difficult to see on this camera, but I'll be putting some pictures up on Instagram shortly of before and after, because I had one with a shade on and one without a shade. Yeah. And there's quite a big difference. And what it's done, it's brought the line of light down to about 1 inch above the tank. Whereas before it was probably 1 inch below the lights because they've got quite a wide spread on the XRs. Sorry, my dog's just whinging at me. Let him out. You can wait a minute. It's stopping a lot of that light spill. And then they obviously do diffusers for the AI primes and hydras, which eliminate a lot of the disco effect that you'd normally get. Yeah. But I'll be honest with you, I've probably spent more of my time learning to print them than learning the arts of lighting and I think Mo would have done a better job of explaining a lot of this. I think
it's just good to get an overview of it, and I get the fact it's the light spill, and I think Coddy's Reef has got one on XR15. He said it's brilliant, makes a difference, unreal with the shades on, and I think a lot of people end up building hoods, don't they? Because especially if you have it in your living room, Steve, I know your tank's in the living room, so you're always thinking about, well, can I keep the light spill to a minimal without it kind of impacting on what goes on around the rest of the room. So I can see why people have it, and it's arguably an easier way of doing it and a cheaper way of doing it than, especially if you've got a rimless tank, to then have to put a hood around it. Sometimes it takes it away from the tank, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you're still going to get a bit of light spill from reflections off your tank and everything, but it does make a significant difference. I'll I'll show you the pictures when I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, the diffusers are, they're different. They're a shade and a diffuser. They're sort of modifying the light and eliminating a lot of that disco effect, really. But yeah, I'm sure there's people could explain it a bit better than I could.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to go and sort your dog out?
Yes, I will. Can you hear him? Can you?
No, just a little bit. Not as much as you can usually hear my dog when she's barking. But yeah, if you want to go and sort it out. So, Steve, how's things?
Yeah, it's all good, mate. Yeah, rushed back. So, yeah, nightmare. Had a nightmare for a few hours. So, yeah, it's a long story. It'll take forever, but yeah, it seems to have sorted it. So far anyway. But yeah, yeah, going on to like those shades, like what Johnny's saying. I mean, I was thinking, I sat there thinking about it, and some company did make them, didn't they? Where the flaps could move. You could move. They had flaps on them. Remember them? So you could move them from side to side. So you could adjust, the spread of where it was going. Whereas those ones that have Johnny, I take it that's just a fixed piece of plastic, is it? I take it, Johnny, on those ones. Is it fixed?
4 sides,
because
clips on.
Yeah, and stuff. But I guarantee, I guarantee, obviously, the par. If I put them on my tank, the par would be a lot stronger because it's that more direct. It's going downwards, whereas opposed to it's preventing light spill for sure, but it's more direct in the center. Like more direct in the center of it. But it's one good thing because you can adjust your power output on your lights. You won't need to adjust. You won't need to have as much power, on it for sure.
Yeah, I've got these at 20%.
Me, yeah. I mean, mine's running at what 42% mine is, but I've got a lot more coral than you and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So
softies and fish. So
exactly, and a lot of mine are SPS. You know what I mean? But I mean, yeah for sure. Great idea, and they look the part, don't they? You know what I mean? That's the main thing as well. They look the part.
No, we were happy to take them on board and take a chance on 3D reefing. Go through that learning curve, which we've enjoyed, which I've enjoyed, to be honest. But yeah, the other part of it is he's so advanced with what he's doing 3D printing wise. If you actually see his processes, there's a lot to learn from this guy, which is invaluable. For me personally.
Yeah.
For sure.
Have you noticed, Steve, since you switched over to the XR30s, have you got more light spill on yours? Do you notice? Because
on mine,
quite a light, on yours, or you?
Yeah. Oh, mate, yeah, way more, sure. But like I've said before, one XR30 can theoretically light a 4-foot tank. Supposedly, that's what it can because of the spread, because of the actual spread of the light, the lens. But so obviously having 2 XR30s. I mean, if I thought about it, maybe I should have gone for. Well, I should have gone for 3 XR15s. That's what I should have done in retrospect. But I didn't want a bracket in the center in the way. Yeah. So that was the reason why I never went for them because I thought, well, if I have a center, if I just don't like it in the center way. Plus, it would have been a bit tricky as well because they're not the smallest of brackets for sure on the Radions anyway. So I just thought to myself, you know what? If I go for 2 and then I can reduce the power, the intensity, which is right in a way. But
yeah, I think these XR30s are perfect for
very powerful
6-foot tank. The height I've got them is perfect for about a 3-foot spread, which covers the entire tank. So I'm pleased with them.
Absolutely. Yeah, yours is a bigger tank than mine, isn't it? What's yours, Johnny?
It's the 750, so it's a 6-foot tank.
Well,
so it's perfect.
And you've got 2 XR30s on it, haven't you? So you've got my height. To your point, Steve, you can get that, can't you? Which is fine. So Steve, you can actually on the Red Seas, you can put the brackets because I had one on the other tank. I had an XR15 in the middle, so the brackets do fit in the middle, but it can be a bit difficult to move it, and you've got to mess around with it. But they are doable with the. I don't know if they've been designed with those in mind, but they do fit quite snugly on that. But You got to decide whether you want you like the symmetry, I suppose, of the 2 lights as opposed to the 3 lights. Yeah, so
I went with hanging wires on these. I like hanging lights. I don't know why. I just think they almost look like they're floating, which I quite like.
Yeah.
I don't know these heavy lights.
Yeah. My missus. Oh no. She said no holes are going in my roof. We're drilling in my room, mate. And I was like, right, okay, then. No problem. So I just, she's the boss. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to argue, mate. Yeah, she was.
I think my wife was out.
And in a way, that's probably best, mate. To be fair, you know what I mean. And with my DIY skills, I'm sure they would have been ended up in the bottom of the tank for sure. So brackets are the best safer option for me, mate, for sure.
Yeah. I'm happier with these. They're a lot lighter than the Evergrows. You know, the Evergrow.
Yeah.
0.8 meters wide off two hangers, whereas now I've got these really light things off. Yeah, it's much safer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I must admit, I didn't fancy hanging from the ceiling. I just didn't want to do it. So, I was okay. I like the brackets for the Radians. I think they're quite tidy, and you get used to it anyway. So there we go. Right, there's a couple of comments, a couple of questions I want to cover off, if I may. So, got a comment here from Oliver. I've got high iron in the tank. Checked all equipment. Everything looks good. Just can't seem to get it down with the dozens of water changed. Can't idea where it's coming from. So, what do you think? I'm trying to think where iron would come from. Would it be in any foods or anything like that, or is it equipment? Could it be in the water?
I don't know if you can get it from unrinsed GFO or something. I don't know if he's using, some sort of a phosphate remover, and maybe because that's iron based.
Possible. That's iron based, for sure.
Maybe if he's going through that a lot, maybe that could contribute iron.
Yeah, true.
Don't know.
Yeah,
see, something I've never really had anything like that. I mean, if I do ever seem to get any of those like trace element of metals in my tank, I always use that that filter floss. Well, I still have it, even though I've not got it. The polyfilter.
Yeah.
I run that religiously, whether I've got it or not. Yeah.
Oh really?
And I always
do you run it all the time?
I run it all the time, mate.
All the time.
I run it religiously. Yeah. And I just basically cut it up into pieces. Yeah. So like I cut a piece up, and it sticks in, the bit in between the baffles. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I've cut 3 extra pieces, 2 small, and I've stuck it in my way, and I stick it, and I just keep it there, mate. And then when it starts to turn a little bit gunky or whatever, I take it out and I replace it.
Does it turn a different colour?
Turns different colours,
So you know when it's kind of used up, a bit like your CO2 scrubber, when it changes colour.
Yeah.
It's always gone brown for me, though, for some reason. Yeah. Always goes the same colour.
To be honest, that's just, and that just means that there's no metals in your water, and that's probably just like the bit of wasted fish food, because, to be honest, a lot of mine is like brown, but it is 9 times out of 10 is brown. To be honest, so I mean,
it's just waste building up.
It's there for the safety. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just in case, and that's the way I look at it. It's just in case there's something in there that shouldn't be there. Then you know what I mean. At least it's being dealt with. You know what I mean? So, and I think it's like 13 quid or 14 quid, whatever it is. Yeah, and it lasts maybe a month or 2, month and a half. I just replace it, and it's just as simple as that. It's just like having polyfilter in your cups, collection cups and stuff like that. That's the way I look at it, and I just replace it. You know what I mean? Every month and a half or so. But it's simple. It's just so simple to just do, and I've never had any metals in my tank. So to be honest, maybe it must be working. You know what I mean?
It's a good prevention, because I've always got one on standby in case I have a problem and I need to put it into one of the tanks. And I've only used not that particular one, but I've only used one once or twice if I think I've got a problem, or if I've just cut too much, or the tank's gone a bit. When I used to use no-pox, occasionally if it went a bit too scuzzy in the sump, I'd get a bit concerned, maybe put it in. But very rarely do I use it. But I think it's a good prevention. But I didn't realise you use it all the time, Steve. So I think it's quite good.
It's always in my tank, mate. Always. Yeah. I always. I think it's just by habit now, to be honest. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I used to do it all the time.
I've been doing it. Yeah, I've been doing it all the time. So I think it's just habit, to be honest.
Yeah, and of course it works.
If it's working.
Absolutely. You don't want to change it. So you go through the cycle. And to be fair, £13 every month or 6 weeks or whatever.
Month and a half,
in the scheme of things, it's not a lot of money considering everything else. And actually what it could prevent, because if you get any dodgy toxins, kind of metals, and the impact that can have on SPS, it's well worth the prevention, isn't it? For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a question there about how you measure in iron. I'm assuming that's ICP. I don't know if
Salifert might do one.
Salifert. I don't know if Red Sea do it as well. So it'd be interesting to know, because if it's one of the home kits, I don't know how reliable it is, but then you could say that about any home kits, to be fair. But yeah, I was assuming it was ICP, but I could be wrong. So Oliver, you want to put in there what you've done, and then you've got Phil has put, have you had your salt mix tested? I suppose it could be in your RO. Don't know whether the RO would take it out, because it goes through a kind of filters.
Resin
it goes through resin, goes through carbon. It goes through the other one, which I can never remember. So it might take out metals in that. I don't know. It says isn't meant to go yellow if there's metal in the system. So so that's about it, right? What I'm going to do. So, Steve, did you know about Jay being late?
Oh yeah, briefly when I got out of the car, I briefly seen a message. Obviously, we were driving, so and I seen that he was having water issues with his tank. Why does he do what? Why does he do?
Here we go.
Just
on the money.
Sit down, boy.
I think he was putting his shopping away, mate. That's right.
Shopping away.
I was doing a frigging water change. Right. You know, when you start siphoning it out, the end just blew off. Mate, it went everywhere, all over the bloody room, all over my top. I'm like, for God's sake. It's because I was rushing to get on here for 8 o'clock, and I thought, I can't rush this water change. I'm just going to have to take it steady and send me apologies. So, Johnny, I'm really sorry for turning up late, mate.
It's all right, Dora.
Very rude of me. I don't care about these two, but obviously you're a guest. So I'm really, really sorry, mate, to turn up late. But
don't worry.
Yeah,
sounds like you had enough to do.
This, can you? You can't rush this job.
Well, you know what happens when you do.
Exactly. I thought you did water changes on Sunday, Jay. No, you're not doing one.
I like to do them on a Friday evening, because then when you get up Saturday morning, it's like Sunday morning, you can have your cup of tea and your biscuit, and your tank looks amazing. Your tank looks amazing, doesn't it? Whereas Sunday, if you do it Sunday, you're at work all week, so you don't really get time to enjoy it. So I like to do it on Friday. Also, because obviously on here, everybody's eagle-eyed.
Look at
his scruffy tank there.
Man's had a clean today.
See, I can tell yours, mate. Yours is crystal clear as well. So I like
mine has as well. I had a good water change on mine as well, mate. You know what I mean?
Mate, it's coming on well. That is, to be fair, at the back there. Jesus. So I like to do it Friday night, but I normally start before 7. But I started it at 7 today, and then I was rushing it. So I thought, slow down. Let's not knacker anything up, and let's just do it properly. So. Yeah,
Jake, what do we say about don't do things in the evening and don't do things in a rush, because sod's law, it's always going to go wrong.
Well, I already snapped a bit of SPS, so I've started a graveyard at the back like Steve. So I caught a bit, and then I knocked my light, and that was shaking all over, and then my return pump blocked up, and I was like, I just need to, just take a breath, and do it calmly, you just can't rush it, and I also have that rule that you can't reef after 8 p.m. as well. So I was worried about it getting past 8. Because after 8 p.m. you always make mistakes, like don't switch things back on. Just issues after issues, But I've missed it though. I've been away 2 weeks.
I know, yeah.
I know you have.
Yes, you have. Yeah.
It makes a good podcast, though. When you're just sitting, sitting on an aeroplane, you could just listen to it. It's amazing. It was ace.
I tell you, the only thing about when you listen to it on YouTube as a playback, it's all the adverts, isn't it? Because if I'm in the car and I'm trying to listen to something, it's really frustrating because you can't necessarily get the phone out and press skip on the ad. So I'm going to have to try and find a way, or maybe see if we can get it on a podcast or something, because the number of things I watch, I listen to when I'm in the car, and I have to just kind of just pretend I'm listening to the radio when you have an advert and you can't do anything about it. It's so frustrating, the adverts. I know we earn a few pennies from adverts, but when you're watching, it's a pain, isn't it?
It is pennies. It is pennies. But I had a drive back from London on one of them when I wasn't on, and I asked my wife, I said, "Can I put the live stream on, just playing through the car?" And she was like, "Do you have to?" I was like, "Yeah, because I want to catch up with it. I want to see what I've missed."
I think I watched last week.
Subjected to it for 2 hours in the car on the way home. Brilliant.
I watched last week's at work. I think I just had my phone down in front of me, pretend you're busy. I just listening in, quick glance down.
That's what you have to do, isn't it? I mean, I know a few people who are on here, like the Zoo. He drives, doesn't he? And he listens to it.
Yeah,
people do, don't they? Which is great. But hey, it's Friday. I'm glad it's Friday. I'm glad it's here.
Absolutely. So just changing tack, just on a couple other things. So first of all, Red Sea. Now, Jay, you probably haven't seen it in the chat, but we've been having a chat about not the chat here, but the WhatsApp group about the new the Red Sea Reefer Gen 2 Plus.
Gen 2 Plus. Yes. Plus. It's got to have a plus at the end, hasn't it?
I don't know anything about this, guys. I don't know anything about it.
So they've launched some more peninsulas that are coming out with a 3-foot peninsula. And of course, what did I say about a peninsula?
Did you patent that idea, Paul? Because you should have done. They've done it about a month after you said it.
I did put in there about have they seen the live stream? Because we talked a lot about peninsulas and stuff like that. They've done I think a 3-foot peninsula. And I think a 6-foot peninsula as well. Might even be bigger than that. The only I think it looks really, really good. The thing I don't like about it, they've taken away the ATO reservoir. So those who have got Red Sea tanks, the reservoir sits above the sump.
Yeah.
So they've taken that away and they're putting the new auto top off kit in there. So now you've got to think, well, where do I put the reservoir? So I think it's okay if you've got a Red Sea Reefer that obviously goes across the back of the wall. You potentially could put a cabinet next to it, run the tubing in, and that's fine.
You don't want that, do you? You want it? You want the peninsula, just the unit, and design.
I wouldn't have anywhere to put it.
Yeah,
I agree, Johnny.
It was Ross who said, "Well, where's the reservoir gone?" And I was looking at it. I couldn't. Yeah, who's Ross? Someone's actually put in there where's just right.
Where's Ross?
Hey, Riggsy, come on, mate. No, don't start this shenanigans.
I'd be upset if they removed my ATO reservoir. I use mine. Mine holds 28 litres on this tank, so it's a full drum. And I'd be quite upset if I had to have a drum sat next to my tank, to be honest.
On the big tanks,
they removed it.
Yeah, they have.
I think
on the big tanks, you've got it. But on the smaller tanks, they removed it. So I think on the 6-foot one, you've got two kind of sumps. You've got the sump itself, then you've got another tank that you can use either a refugium or you can use it as an auto top-up. I wasn't too sure, but Ross, when you look in some of the wording of it, it says they've removed the reservoir.
I could probably guess why they've done that.
I think they've only removed it because the actual baffles where the actual collection cups fit, you can actually remove that. Yeah, and you can put one of their reef mats in there.
Yes.
Now that's if the reef mat was in there, then there would be because the normal basic 170 has a reservoir. Do you know what I mean? The normal standard 170 tank has a reservoir, so there's no reason for them not to put one in. The only reason it can be is because you've got that removable baffle where you can take out the filter socks and you can potentially put their reef float in. That's the reason why they've done it. There's no other way.
Yeah, so they can sell you the deluxe with reef mat.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it'll be, mate.
I'll stick with my ATO reservoir, thanks.
So I stand to be correct. On the larger model, they've definitely got it in there, but I couldn't see it was in there on the smaller. I was looking on the 300, which is the 3-foot, and I couldn't see any mention of seeing an ATO reservoir. And like you say, you got a peninsula that comes along. Yeah. You're not going to put something down the side of it because you spoil the whole aesthetics of having a peninsula tank, don't you?
Look at my beautiful peninsula whilst there's a jerry can next to it. It just doesn't work. How much is it? I bet it's about two grand, is it?
So it was 2,000. You said it, Steve, didn't you? You done the calculation. How much was it? That was without the tip.
Yeah, I went on the actual website, pretending as if I was a buyer. Yeah, and the actual tank alone, yeah, was 2,099 quid. So that's the tank, the stand, and the sump. Yeah.
Is that the 3 foot?
Then
yeah,
for the 3 foot peninsula. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then if you add on everything that, like the extras, so the things that you're gonna really need, yeah, like the skimmer, yeah. Maybe not so much the reef mat at the beginning. You don't really need that, but I still put that in because I think it's for me. My clarity is like one of the best things I added to the tank. So I added that on. I added the 2 lights, reefer LED lights that you get, and then I added 1 reef wave, the reef wave 25, so the smaller one, yeah. So I added that as well, yeah, and it came to like 3,800 quid, mate. Wow. £3,800, yeah, for that. So I was like, whoa, and that's for like a 3 foot. So that's only 1 reef wave. So then if you add like say another reef wave, you're looking like nearly £4,000. You'll be looking at 4,000 quid, and that's without adding any rock, any water, any starting of the cycle or anything like that. Yeah. So you're looking probably looking 4,200, I'd say, to get it started, which is a lot of money, you know what I'm saying, for a 3 foot tank, to be honest. But
they have gone up quite a bit since when I bought my 750.
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking at the price of that now. Granted, oh, jeez.
So that's what I was going to say.
Exactly. That's what I would do.
I was going to say to Mickey Boy, obviously, you know, can't do a quote live on, but could you do a 3 foot peninsula? I know it depends on your spec and everything else, because obviously that's a plywood cabinet, which would be okay, but I don't know what kind of ballpark figure, because I said to you, Steve, that, you know, for that money, if you're going for a peninsula, you go custom, because the only way I can think about the peninsula is you put the reservoir in your cabinet. Now, the problem with putting in the cabinet's not that big. So, you know, you've got as you go out, you've got your dosing containers, you've got all your controllers, you've got all your power bars. And the last thing I would want to do is put a reservoir in with all the electrics, because I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to end up spilling it. Imagine trying to top it up. You try and pull it out. It's just like a no-go for me. I don't put anywhere near any of the electrics, anywhere near the actual sump itself. Absolutely. The only other thing I did was the DOS dosers were above the sump, but they're like kind of bricks, and they're really, really solid. It's the only electrics I've ever really had in a cabinet for that reason. So I was thinking I could put it in there, and I just don't see how I would do that, because I wouldn't want to do that. But yeah, I agree.
You know what I couldn't understand. Like, say like we're at 300, yeah. Why couldn't they make the drier? Why couldn't they make a smaller sump section? Yeah, so make a smaller sump section and a larger dryer section. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, because 300 liters of water really in the tank is going to be decent enough anyway. You know what I mean? To be honest. And then you just have a smaller sump, but a larger dryer area. You know what I mean? Maybe it's the shape of the cabinet. Maybe, you know, like structure of the cabinet, they couldn't do that. You know what I mean? Whereas if it was aluminium, it wouldn't really matter where it was. You know what I mean? Where the structure would be. You know what I mean? Maybe it had something to do with that building process. But I would have thought a larger dry area, where you can add your gear, especially with it being a peninsula, because as you said, you're going to be spoiling the aesthetics of the whole idea of it coming out. Do you know what I mean? It's just not going to look right with another cupboard
the whole way through, doesn't it?
Yeah, needs to be clean. Yeah, for sure. I thought the reasoning.
I thought the new G-Tank G2 range was aluminium frames or steel frames. Now
only the 2 larger ones. Only the 500 and the 750.
900s
and on the peninsulas, the larger 2 are aluminium, and the smaller 2 are 300 liters and 500 liters, and I think it then goes up to 700, and I think then 900. So the top 2 are bigger, so therefore they have got the ability to have a reservoir in there. The smaller 2, I mean, I stand to be corrected, but you know, Ross said it, and I looked at it, and I couldn't see. And it says the reservoir is not included, or it's been removed. That's what I like about the DD tank. It's 3 foot, and you've got a auto top of reservoir in there, and it's no more than probably about 4 or 5 inches wide, so it doesn't take up much room, but the baffle goes all the way to the top, so you can fill it up right to the top of the sump, so you can get a decent amount of water in that for the size of the tank. And I don't see any reason why they couldn't have done something like that. But I mean, obviously based on feedback, maybe they got the feedback that people don't use their reservoir and they'll set up something separately, which I get, as I say, on a standard reefer makes perfect sense, but I don't get it on a
I mean, it is a pain topping up the reservoir on mine. On mine, for top the reservoir, I've got to like get a little table, 2 barrels, and let gravity feed it into the reservoir through a siphon. So it's not straightforward. You won't want to take it out. I mean, you can't move it when it's full. It says don't pick it up when it's full. So they expect you to fill it up in situ, which isn't the easiest thing. Bit of a pain. But,
so I'm gonna upgrade this one because I'm having all kinds of problems with the 2 litre one. It's got stuck a couple of times and everything else. So I just bought a container that's quite a deep. I tried a salt container, just too big, like the round, and this one goes quite nice. This is about 14 litres, which is about right. I looked at some of the acrylic ones you get online. They're like 150, 160 quid. I thought I'm not paying that for a top up.
And it's hidden. It's hidden as well, so you don't have to.
So that one's in there. And to be fair, because there's no sump, it's fine. All I've got in there is about 4 plugs and a couple of bits and bats in there. So for that tank, it's ideal. But yeah, I suppose I could put that in a peninsula, but then you still got to drag it out. And if you've got all electrics in front of it, that's not it's not ideal. So when I first saw it, I'm thinking, oh my God, how am I going to buy this tank? I'm not going to have a 4th tank. And then I'm going to have to get rid of that. And then when I saw there was no reservoir, I'm thinking, no.
Yeah, because you did say if they brought out a 3-foot peninsula, you would get one. So
I did.
You were tempted, weren't you? You were.
I was. Ross just said get a 4th
tank.
And I'm thinking, no, I'm not getting a 4th tank. It's just too much.
Well, if you've got 3, what's the difference with 4? It's like kids, isn't it? Once you get to 3, you might as well carry on.
Yeah, but I haven't got 3 kids. I've only got 2.
When do you stop?
Well, that's it. You've got 3. You've got a school trip everywhere you go, haven't you? So you might as well just carry on.
Yeah,
I think I was threatened with divorce at 9 tanks.
9.
I was going to say 9 kids.
No, we had 9 tanks in an end terrace, which was quite a feat.
That's achievement. That is.
But then when I started selling them off, she got upset. Go figure.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with Red Sea, because I mean I'm a big fan of Red Sea, like everything they do. But that ATO that you've got, Steve, that seems to be missing a part to me, which is that temperature probe, which you can't add a temperature probe to it, which I don't understand that design.
The one that I'm getting,
I'm bringing out a peninsula without an ATO. That just seems to be missing something. Like when they're having a design meeting, when they're doing the design meeting, aren't people saying, "Where's the ATO gone?" And someone goes, "Well, we're not putting one in." And then doesn't someone go, why on earth are you not putting one in? It's a bit strange not to have an ATO underneath, isn't it? I don't know.
Totally agree, mate. I mean, especially like with that new ATO that's coming out. I can't wait. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it could be like a game changer. That, to be fair, because it's probes rather than a sensor. Yeah, I think and the titanium probe, so I think that's going to be a lot better. You know what I mean, in the sense of conductivity and everything. Yeah,
sure.
It's going to be more. I think it will think. But once again, like I said, it still had the space. It looks like it had the space in the box, to put a thermometer, to put a temperature probe in there. That's what I couldn't understand that myself. Do you know what I mean? But maybe it's for the future. Maybe it might be for the future. Maybe that's what they're going to go out with next time. You know what I mean? I don't know, but there's definitely space in there because it only looks like there's 3 ports that are being used. You know, on the actual control.
Yeah, it looks like a spare space.
I don't know, mate.
Yeah,
like there was a spare space. Maybe you never know.
I don't know, but when I buy Johnny's products, it's all there. Like everything I'd expect to get, I get. I got that, that mini frag rack, mate. I absolutely love that one. Just try to elevate the coral, and by God, your magnets are strong, aren't they? Like
which ones did you get? Was it the heavy duty?
Yeah, the heavy duty magnets.
Yeah, I've seen someone take a chunk out of the finger with them. He sent me a picture and it was all bloodied up and everything. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. It's kind of your fault, though.
Because you don't shift at all, like the flow and stuff.
Yeah,
they don't move.
They're good.
You design your products, and when you look at them, I'm like, that's got everything that I'd have, if not more. Like, you don't think anything's missing. You know what I mean? Whereas you make some good stuff, mate. What's I don't know if you got onto that yet. Have you told us what your new stuff is at the moment?
Yeah, we've covered the shades.
I'll check the website.
You have to rewind.
Listen to it in car later.
Yeah. I'll have it on playback.
Right, I'm just going to go through a few comments. So the first one, Jay, how long does it take to do a change on a 27-litre tank? Yours is a bit more than 27, isn't it?
For a normal person, probably about, I don't know, 25 minutes, half an hour. I always do it. I always take an hour because I don't know if everybody else has, but I have like a little set routine of doing things in certain orders, and I don't break the order so that I make sure I do everything in the right order. But mixing my salt, I used to take like 2 days. Remember?
I remember that well.
I used to mix it for 2 days overnight and everything. But now I do that in like 2 hours, and then taking it out, clean the filters, the rocks, dosing. It should take me about an hour, but obviously it was a bit longer. Yeah. Imagine if I actually had a tank with a decent amount of water in it. It'd take me forever.
Yeah.
Just drop the jug. I'll have you know when I do a water change, I do. It must be today.
One thimble.
Yeah. Today, because I've missed 2 weeks, so I feel really bad actually because I've missed 2 weeks, and it was filthy. It was like a bloody filthy pond. So I've done.
I don't believe that.
About 18 litres. I did up to about
relative in it, that.
Yeah, about that much. That's about 18 to 20 litres. So that's a big change for me because I normally do about 10. But
so that's about a third, then, isn't it? Isn't that a 70-litre tank?
75. Don't.
Oh, 75. Sorry.
Every litre counts here, Paul. When you got.
I do apologise.
Minimal litres. I'd love a 300. That's I think that's the perfect size.
That's what
Johnny's Peninsula.
My head would fall off for something that big.
Yeah, it's. I mean, this evaporates 75 litres in 8 days, so it's. I don't know where it all goes. It's somewhere in the house.
That size, mate, it's just a money pit, isn't it? Really.
To be honest, I don't spend anything on it. I just top it up. I haven't bought corals in a long time since things went a bit sour. It's just a softy and fish tank now. Calcium reactor does a lot of the work for me. I dose Love2reef.
Yeah, dose a lot then now.
Just Love2reef and Carbo Plus at the moment to try and help with nitrates. Because I've got a lot of fish in there. That's the thing now. Because I kind of fell out of love with corals when stuff sadly died off. Yeah. I still love them, but it went towards me fish.
Yeah.
And I've added more fish. I've got some fish that aren't really compatible with mixed reefs now. So, I've got to say goodbye to some fish before I can get to where I want to be, which is just it's not easy, is it?
About doing that though. How long you had them for? The ones you're getting rid of?
Some of the fish. Well, I've got a pair of clowns in there that I've had for maybe 7 years. But I could probably keep them. Yeah, any of them, to be honest. I've thought to myself, I want to reboot and I need to reduce the amount of fish I've got. But then I go, well, what would I get rid of? I don't want to get rid of any of them.
Yeah, you get attached to them.
You do. And I want to reboot, but I can't bring myself to do it.
So what will you do with them? Will you sell them or take them to a fish shop? Or what do you do with them? I don't know because I've never done it myself.
I'd probably hope a fish shop may look after them. Some of the ones that I plan on putting back into the reef. What I want to do is basically get the tank dry. Maybe look at a bit of a seal issue I've got as well at the front. So I want to basically shut it down, but I don't want to say goodbye to the fish forever. So I don't know what I'm going to do.
I've been putting that off, Johnny, because that sounds like a big job, to be fair.
I've been putting it off a while. This is it. I want to get back into corals, but I've got myself
Corals
in a
are the
rut.
one, aren't they, Steve? Corals are the one, mate, aren't they? And Paul.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, mate.
Oh, I've got some lovely fish though. I do.
Yeah.
Got, my blueface angel is my favourite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
I mean, I do.
Sorry.
I do like fish. I do like the fish. Don't get me wrong, but think when you see your tank like developing and growing into like a really established reef and like looks the part, you know what I mean, or it looks really really good, yeah. Then I don't know. I tend to think I just I'll keep my fish because obviously the fish that I've had, well, God, a long time, especially the clownfish, I've had them since day one, sort of thing. But now it's like. For me, it's definitely like the coral. It's just like seeing them grow out, you know what I mean, and seeing them flourish and that's just for me. That's just I just love the coral now rather than fish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd much rather have fish and coral, but it didn't work for me sadly. So
I ended up fish at feeding time. That's where it gets good with the fish, like feeding time and stuff.
You got the movement, don't you?
Yeah, but then the rest of the day, the corals are just I don't know, just far more interesting then. They just the fish just don't tend to do that much, do they? When they're not being fed.
No.
Yeah.
When it's clowns, I agree. Some of the fish that are more swimming open. I mean, I've got to appreciate the fish more over the years and getting different ones. So I appreciate the fish. I know it's a small tank and there's only 2 different fish in there because a pair of clowns they don't really do that much. But I've come to appreciate more the cherub angel and the dotty back and what they do and the cherub dashing in and out and stuff like that. It's just a different fish. Maybe it's a novelty. I don't know, but it's a lovely fish, even though it's a small. It's quite colourful, not as colourful as some of the other angels. You get something absolutely stunning, but for what I wanted, it's a lovely fish.
Has Paul at AAC still got your yellow tank?
Yeah, he has.
Oh my God, how much do you owe for that for rent? Jesus,
probably
about 2 years.
No,
I think he's going to have to buy it back.
I think he's going to have to buy it back.
Yeah. Charging him rent, mate.
Charge of rent, I probably could buy by the end of it.
That's a lot of board and lodging, that is.
Yeah, so he's had him since June last year, and I've got no idea when I'm going to get a bigger tank. So he could be there for quite a while, but Paul seems okay with it, I think. It would have been cheaper and easier probably to have sold the yellow tank and bought another one, but I don't want to part with it. So I'm hoping within the next year I'll get him.
And would you know if he swapped it without being rude?
No.
Hey, he might not want to give it you back.
He might have sold it already. Unless it's like that fish has shrunk. It's like
I mean, I don't know.
It's purple now.
Yeah, it's a purple tank. It's had a change. It now identifies as a purple tank.
Well, yeah. Maybe you should just put it back in the sea and then got a new one out when you wanted one.
Yeah, maybe.
That'd have been a good idea.
Maybe. They don't go back very often. The journey back to wherever it goes, to Hawaii.
I know, yeah. Can you imagine? They'd be like, I'm put back in the sea. That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Just take them out,
right, let's see what else we've got here as comments. I think Nick said about the beauty of a bespoke. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that is
you can do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Okay, and also we have some unique kit that's not available mainstream. Yeah, fair enough. Then there's this one, Julian. I'm late. Great grandson arrived yesterday. Congratulations.
Hey,
fantastic.
Congratulations, mate.
Not just a great son, a great grandson. Fantastic.
Awesome, Julian. I'm sure you'll introduce him to the hobby in no time.
Yeah. There's the water box 362. I'm assuming that's quite a large tank. Yeah, 100 litres. Oh, so 100 litre sump and a 320 litre system. So actually, it's not that big. Sump is massive. It includes an 80. No dry side, which does worry. That's the only downside of that. So 320. What's that? 3 foot? Maybe just over 3 foot. If it's that kind of size ish. Might be 4 foot, but quite narrow. But imagine it's 3 foot ish.
Yeah.
Where did I get that container? It's from eBay. If you mind me on Instagram, I will find the link and put it on the DM. So if you want to message me, NG Reefer.
Oh, we could do it as a giveaway. That'd be even better, wouldn't it, for people?
Yeah.
I'm only joking. It's like, no, I like this container.
I do think, if I was doing a giveaway, I would do something slightly different. Yeah, I've got plans. I'm actually going to use this and I'm going to set it out quite soon. Unlike some of my other kit. I was
basically
speaking to
what happens is I throw these two under a bus by saying they're doing giveaways all the time.
Yeah, and you don't do any giveaways. Have you done a giveaway?
I've done one. That was ages ago. Wasn't it? Them corals.
You did a figure.
The
you did what do you call it as well?
Collection.
A Hannah one. A Hannah check.
I did a Hannah one as well. I did a Hannah one, yeah. So I've done. They were back in 2018, so I don't need to do anymore.
Damn it! No one told me that's how it works.
Well, that's it. I'm the auctioneer on here. I don't give anything away.
And Steve does it all the time.
Who does?
Right. Well, no, we do it as a collective, don't we? That's what it is.
Well, we do.
People.
Yeah.
There you
go. You want to see Chen's chromis at feeding time? Yeah, I've seen the video. Yeah, there's been videos on Facebook, hasn't there? The 50.
Yes. 50 odd chromis. Yeah.
They're like piranhas, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Talking about chromis, one of my steroid chromises died. You know, he passed away. Couldn't believe it, mate. I was devastated. It's true, isn't it? You know, like you get when you lose, like. Yeah, my steroid chromis, as they call them, the chaps. Yeah, they think that I'm feeding them steroids. Because of the size of
steroids.
The size of it, mate. Yeah, steroids, mate. Steroids.
It's bigger than his powder blue. The chromis are bigger than the powder blue. Wow. When I walked in his house the other week, I'm thinking he's got chromis 10 here. It's definitely, it was as big as the powder. The powder wasn't small.
I mean, I know that it died, Steve, because you sent us a picture, which I was gutted about.
Yeah.
But mate, on the picture, it looked like super. I know it was dead, but it looked super healthy, mate. You know what I mean? The colour, the health, the fins. It looked super healthy.
Checked it all over. Mate.
You're making me want to check my chromis now. I've not spotted that for it. Oh no, it's still there.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I checked it all, mate, and there was no signs of aggression, like it's been bit or it was ill or anything like that. There was nothing, mate. I think it just died of old age. I'm sure it must have. I mean, bear in mind, I've had them for over 4 years. You know what I mean? So, and it wasn't small. It wasn't really tiny when I got them. So you know, I mean, don't know how old they were. I don't even know how long they actually lived in captivity. I don't have a clue, mate. But I mean, really, I mean, there was no thing. It did look, and it looked like it had only just died, mate. You know, like it was still like
it was immaculate.
Like it wasn't stiff. It was still, it was still like it had just died. You know, like within the hour or so, which is strange. But
do they float or sink when they die? I don't know. Do they float or sink fish?
They tend to go with the current, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, they go with the current. Yeah.
The sort of neutral buoyancy, aren't they? So they'll just go wherever your wave. That's just why they end up in anemones, isn't it? Because wave takes them into a nem, they grab it, and people go, "Oh, my nem's killed me fish." No.
Yeah.
Oh.
No. Yeah. No. That's it. That's it. I mean, mine was stuck on the. Yeah. Mine was stuck on the on the weir. You know, on the weir. So where the water obviously is going down, it was just stuck to the weir. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, it's sad, but you know what? I suppose it's life. It's nature, isn't it? It just things happen. We all die at some point.
One.
Yeah,
I had I think I had about a 4 to 5 foot eel in here. It was a zebra moray. I got it off a friend who got it from a friend who'd got it from a friend. So how old it was, I don't know. But yeah, it was. It's just stopped eating. You know, it munched everything, but it stopped eating. And I've got to admit, removing that after it died, that was quite difficult.
Yeah,
so being such a big animal, you know, it's that was probably the worst one.
Yeah, I do love the eels. I think they look spooky and scary, but they also look fascinating, don't they? You know, like the way they are, the way they move around. It's fascinating to the way they move and all that.
You'd see its head on one side at tank, and then its tail's still on the other side. Around, you're like, how big are you?
Oh,
that is
I know, scary, mate.
And then you can feed them. But the zebra morays are good. They've no teeth. They've got like Velcro instead of teeth, so they can't. They don't go for fish. They're quite docile. And you can safely feed them without them taking tip of your finger off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, we have a question there. Recommendation for dosing pumps, please. My tank's evolved and it's time to be an actual reefer. Nice one. Ooh, so I think all of us, I know certainly 3 of us use different dosing pumps. So, Johnny, have you used dosing pumps, or do you use?
Yeah, I've used quite a few. I've used some cheap ones. I think first question for him would be, what's he planning dosing? Is he dosing a 1-part, a 2-part, a 3-part? You know, if you're just dosing a 1-part, obviously your range of doses probably shrinks at that point. I'm dosing a 1-part, so I'm using the Reef Factory, just a single doser. And then I added to that later with a second doser for my Carbo Plus. So it's a good place to start. If you just, if you're going for an all for one, I'd suggest the Reef Factory myself.
Fair enough. Steve, what do you've used different doses over the years, haven't you?
I've used a few different doses, mate. But if I was to, honestly, like Johnny said, it depends on totally exactly what you're using it for. To be fair, that's the main thing to consider. But I mean, I've had my Komodo X4 well over 3.5 years now.
Yeah, they're
absolutely rock steady. Don't get me wrong, and I've never changed the dosing pumps, the actual heads. Yeah, and every time I check it, to make the accuracy test, it's always bob on, mate. Always. So I really do rate them. But if the truth be told, if I could afford it, I would take that out. I would sell it, and I would get the Versa off, because I just think the Versas are just like. I mean, I use the Versa for dosing my Calquasso, and it's just like literally absolutely spot on. I didn't even calibrate it. I just set it like 4 mil to come out. 4 mil came out spot on. It was just like straight out the box. And I went to calibrate it just before I topped up. This was 2 days ago, because I had to refill my Cal cup. And I didn't even need to. I just tested it, and it was absolutely spot on. So, I mean, I don't know. Plus, it also depends on your budget as well, doesn't it? You know what I mean? They're expensive, aren't they? You know what I mean? Doses you can get, decent ones, like the D&D Pro one. That's a good one. I've got that one as well, which is a good.
Well, they use the they're Komodo heads as well, aren't they?
Yeah, the Komodo heads. Yeah,
make the parts for DD.
244.95 mine was.
And I'm assuming you can get it for less than 4. Can you get a 1, a 2, and a 4?
Yeah, you can get 1.
Yeah, you can get the P1, can't you? P1.
Yeah, P1. This is the standard one. They do a premium, but I was too tight as a Yorkshireman to buy the premium one. I bought the standard one. But the standard one was 250 quid, basically. So I think that's a lot, isn't it, really, for a doser? So you don't, I
don't think that's expensive.
When you think of the Versa 4 one, is 799 quid.
Well, I won't spend that. That's ridiculous. I mean, I know they're amazing.
But it's like anything. But we've said it before on there, haven't we? Yeah, you pay for.
Does it come in Apple packaging?
I don't know where it comes in, but I mean, look how long they've been around Ecotech. You know what I mean? They make good products, don't they? And at the end of the day, they put a premium on it. It's the R&D and stuff like that. It's like anything in it. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. But I mean, I've never ever used any Ecotech stuff before in my life. And I said to you, didn't I, Johnny, when you text me, you said like about the lights and stuff, and I said you won't go wrong with them. I mean, with it, with the Gen 6s, I absolutely love mine. I know I'll go on about it, but I just do. I just think they made the tank, mate. You know what I mean? They made it.
No, exactly.
What I quite like about I'd never installed the Mobius app before. Obviously, I got the lights, installed Mobius, and Mobius came up and went, "Oh, I can see your return pump. Oh, I can see your wave maker." And I was like, "I've never thought of doing this through the app before." So it's now merged all my equipment into one app, which is really good. Like that.
Exactly.
Like that.
That's because you're now working with AI, and the app's working properly now.
Yeah, the app's. I'm impressed with that.
It's working flawless now, mate. It had issues, did it?
With the buyout, it works flawless.
Did it?
Yeah.
I've picked a good time to join them.
8 months ago, mate. Yeah. 8 months ago to a year, you'd have been like, "What the hell? This Mobius app is crap, mate." Yeah. But they seem to have developed. They've got the software all up and running now, mate. Yeah, everything's fine with it.
I think there's a good point. If you're going to get a dose, and make sure you have one with Wi-Fi, because it is the one for the lights. I wouldn't be overly fussed, because once you're set, I plug and play, and that's it. With a doser, you will be, as you know, as the tank becomes more successful, you'll have to dose more. So it's definitely one that you'd want decent software. I mean, the ones that I've used Komoa before, they're good. The one that I really like is the Apex DOS doser, but of course that's more expensive because you've got to have an Apex. But I've got 2 DOS dosers, that's 4 heads in total, and mine are still going. It'll be 8 years this August, and I've had to change one of the heads out of the 4. So I'm absolutely chuffed with them, and on the app it's really easy to use. You can dose right down to 0.5 of a milliliter. Why do you want to do a 0.5? But you can. I think a lot of them you can nowadays, and I just think they're really, really good. And I've had them for years, and they're not cheap. And of course, you've got to have the Apex as well, but they are really good, I find.
With the D&D one that I've got, once I set it up, it's amazing, right? But setting it up was such a ball ache because I had to go, and I don't know if anybody else had to do this with the doser, but I had to change my actual router settings, go into the bloody internet and change it to 2.5
gig.
To connect. I was like, oh my God, I need like an IT degree to connect this up. So I don't know if it was just mine or if anybody else had.
I bought a second-hand one, the P4. I'm a software engineer, and I couldn't figure it out and sold it.
You sold it, did you?
Yeah.
It took me about 2 to 3 hours, and I was just doing my head in.
Yeah, I'd reconfigured all my network to the detriment of every other device in the house. But I never got there. You do because your devices want 5 gigahertz, which your typical Wi-Fi is. They're running on an older 2.4, but it's you just want 5 gigahertz in your house really these days.
Well, what I can't understand is even like say for instance, the KH Keeper, which is a modern, it's a new software, new system, that only runs on 2.4 gigahertz. It won't run on 5.
This does.
It cuts off, mate. So you have to So I had to reconfigure my Wi-Fi just for that specific one, to work on 2.4. Because otherwise,
don't tell me that. I'll have to set it up. Mate, another year. I'm not doing it for another year.
You know what? Because it kept on losing. It kept on losing connection. It said your KH Keeper's got connection. I'm like, why is it doing that? And then and then somebody on the live stream, I can't remember who it was, said you need to switch it over for that specific machine, to 2.4 and only have it at that. So obviously I switched it over, and it's never gone off since ever. It's always stayed on. So it definitely only works on 2.4.
Like Johnny says, you have to affect every other appliance in your house that's connected to the internet just to get that one thing on.
Yeah, I think you can still run 5 and 2.4, but I'm not convinced it's as good as we've moved away from 2.4 for a reason.
Exactly.
It's not secure, is it? That's why, isn't it? Is it not?
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, it's the speed into the gigahertz.
Technology, you say, the speed,
yeah. But I don't know. I'm sure there's more to it than that. But I gave up and sold it.
There's a question here: how often do you recalibrate your doses? I don't think I've ever recalibrated my DOS doses. Every so often, I'll kind of put 5 mil into a beaker. It's not the same as calibrating, just to make sure it's okay, and it has. And I've never had a problem in terms. Basically, elements have done what they needed to do. They haven't changed because of that. I don't think it's probably because I've forgotten to fill the dosing container. So I know you are supposed to do it on a regular basis.
Yeah, how's regular? How often?
Mine's every 10 years.
How often would they be doing it? Because
I think the Reef Factory app, I think that wants you to do it every 3 months. So I don't connect to it anymore. I don't want to know. But I'm not dosing anything critical. It's not that big a deal. If I was, I would, but I'm not. So
every 3 months, that's sensible.
I'm sorry, guys. Do you mind if I duck out at this point? Thanks for having me. My dog's going a bit ape, so I think he needs a bit of time outside. So if you don't mind, I'll love you and leave you.
No,
of course.
Thanks for having me.
I'll speak to you soon, Johnny.
Cheers, Johnny.
See you soon, anyway. By the way.
Yeah.
Take care.
I'll be listening for the announcement as well. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Take care, mate.
Take care, mate.
I've just missed a message. It was up there. Thanks, Johnny. So MB Reefing just finished acclimatizing my birthday presents from the kids. A multicolour urchin and a royal grammar.
Wow, they're great presents, aren't they? Are?
Yeah, absolutely.
I do like the royal grammars. Lovely fish, but they can get quite big, can't they? As well,
yeah, I suppose they can. I mean, I've had a royal grammar for about 6 years, I think. So I do get a decent size, but it's okay in the 3-foot tank, and they don't seem that aggressive either.
Yeah, lovely temperament, aren't they? Supposed to be?
They are, yeah, from what I've seen, absolutely. Yeah. Right, so just a couple more comments, and then we will.
What I like about firefish. Well, my firefish is just so chilled.
Yeah,
it just gets on with every other species that's in there. Really, really placid fish.
Yeah, there's a few comments here about get a separate router.
No need to. It's working now. It's working.
5 is only good if it's in the same room.
All right, so we're getting a bit
has
more.
A better range and go for obstacles better than 5 gig.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Right, see.
So there is that advantage. It is just a pain messing about though when you're setting it up.
Yeah, I think nowadays you expect something to plug and play. You don't expect, really, you don't expect to have to get the menu out. You expect to do something and it tells you on screen, step by step, what you need to do, not that you read anything. And if there's a problem, then everyone just has a bit of a hissy, because I do, because you think, why hasn't it just worked? Even though it's got a user error on my part. But there we go.
We do want plug and play now, please.
Well, I think it's an expectation, isn't it? That we have, that's for sure.
Well, them smart plugs are a bit like that as well. They have to have 2.4. It does mean.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to change now, and I'm going to share something.
Oh, what's this?
Oh, it's gone. That's short-lived, isn't it?
Right,
there we go.
Hey, there we go.
Hey.
Right. So I've had a few people, including our good friend Drippy, saying, "When's the Love to Reef? When's the Love to Reef?" So this is the next Love to Reef event on the 20th of May. And it is in the same place it was before. So in Harlow, Essex, 1 minute away from, 1 minute walk from AAC. Last time we had, who did we have there last time? So we had Johnny there from Aquaprint. He's there this year. We had Ches, who does all the lovely UV artwork. And also we had Exodus on behalf of Ecotech, and also AAC there as well. So 20th of May, we're going to a slightly bigger room, and we've got more people there. So I'm really chuffed to have these brands that are going to be in the room. There'll be the UK distributors for these companies, as you can see on screen. We've got Brian from TMC, who's going to be there and also going to do a talk. Reef Factory's there, and they're going to do a talk as well about Reef Factory. We're going to have a Q&A towards the end. There's going to be a giveaway, but I need to sort a bit more detail out on that. Tickets are £17, and it starts at doors open at 10. Thanks, Joe. What can you get for £17? The doors open at 10. And
I just couldn't resist.
And it finishes at 3.
Fish and chips will pay for that.
That's fish and chip supper for your family, and that. In fact, that is
not down here. No way.
Down in Essex, mate.
We've had this before about the price of fish and chips and how different it is where Steve is compared to where I am. In fact, there was a massive conversation about how much is fish and chips where you are. That was months ago. That was before all the price increases.
You can tell us something to set the pricing on this, can't you, Steve?
Yeah, thanks for your support, Jay.
No, to be honest, £17 is a snip, isn't it, really? It's a snip for what you're getting, which is it's a full day out, isn't it? That's what it was last time. It
finished it's supposed to finish at 12:30 last time, and it finished at 1:30. So we overrun by an hour. This one is due to finish at 3 o'clock. Yeah, 3 o'clock. So if anyone's interested in tickets, then message me on Instagram. And there's lots there, but actually what we're going to do, we're going to have Eco Marines, which is Laura. She is setting up a 5-foot tank, a coral tray. So she'll be selling corals from in the hall. So I'm looking forward to that. So you've got her in the hall. Paul's not going to set up a coral tray in the hall, but of course, round the corner will be AAC. So it's a stone's throw away. So that's good. And Woody's put you only £17 will only get you a Starbucks in London.
Go in there then. No chance. I love my coffee. Sick of that.
So there is on site, there is a cafe on site which they do all sandwiches and toasties and coffees and stuff like that. And the prices are
17 quid, is it?
No, it's a lot. It's not Starbucks. It's a lot cheaper. It's a lot cheaper than 17 quid. The coffee in the room. But it's more expensive than Greg's.
Egg crest, 15 quid.
I've never, hey James, they never heard of pound bakery down there or what? You know,
No.
we heard of the pound bakery.
Where's the Greg's? Where's the Greg's?
There is a Greg. There's a McDonald's down the road. I think there might be a Greg's down the road. But you'd have to jump in the car, Joe.
No.
Oh God.
No, honestly,
I'm looking for it.
The little canteen is great. I went to the canteen last time. And it was reasonably priced. Good food as well, and it's in the same building, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that was ideal. And then you can just walk around, can't you, to AAC? You don't even have to move the car. You just walk around and the venue's incredible. It's a great little place to have it.
Yeah, it's nice. So we're going to a bigger room. Yeah.
I think I'm going to be booking in there. You know,
are you going to make a night on the Saturday? Are you going to come down?
Well, I'm going to be. I think I'm booking into a hotel, so I'm going to stay there Saturday night. I think so. Me and the missus, we might have
17 quid.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit more than 17 quid, but I think we've not been away, you know, for the night away. Me and the missus,
holiday,
so we'll make it. We'll make it a nice night, mate. You know what I'm saying?
So you're gonna have a holiday to Harlow.
A holiday to Harlow. How about that?
You know how to live, don't you? You know how to take the missus on a mystery tour.
Your good lady, Stephen.
Hey, go on. Any night away from the kids is good, mate.
So what you say to her is, I'm going to take you away for a nice weekend, and then while she's there, she buys you a coral, and then everyone's happy, aren't they?
Well, this is it. But I'll have to get it on the Sunday one, so I will probably be getting something from AAC. I can't wait to see that place. That's one place I just cannot wait to go and see, mate. So, what do you call it? Paul from there has helped me out a lot. So with the issue of the Tunzi and stuff. So I can't wait to meet him and meet all the guys there. I think I'm looking forward to that for sure. And then seeing his corals. Maybe taking a coral on Sunday home. You never know.
Well, I'm sure if you see something, they'll reserve it for you. I mean, they've got tons. You'll love it, Steve. In terms of acros or anything from they've got actually far more zoas now than they used to have. Got a tank full of softies, so they actually sell quite a good range of softies. And then
I got two from them.
They've got 2 coral trays of SPS frags, and they're all from the coral farm. And then they've got a massive. Jay, if you remember on the right-hand side, a massive tray, and that's all the wild corals.
It looks amazing.
I think they're all wild. I may be wrong. I thought they was all wild Connolly's that they've got. But, and then he's got loads of stuff out the back as well. And the display tanks are superb as well.
I got my Gorgonian, which I absolutely love up there. I got that from AAC. That's amazing. And then I got my Fungear plate. It's green and orange, and that's incredible. The choice there is amazing.
There
wasn't a Donny there last time that I thought, I want that one. So hope for this year. With Laura going as well, been the Gonny expert, and AAC know that we're turning up. I reckon there'll be some nice Gonnies this year.
And also, do you remember there was a massive sea fans they had in the display? Yeah. Well, they've fragged them. And they're in the display. They're in the display tank. He's keeping them in there for a couple of months. So I'm hoping he might have them released at that time. Because I've already said to Paul, I'd love one. They've fragged down to about 2 or 3 inches. They were massive. Perfect. So he's fragged some of them because they're not that. I don't think they're that.
Are they photosynthetic? Are they? Yeah,
they're photosynthetic. Yeah,
that's good.
They are.
I'd like one of them as well. To be fair, because they just move really nicely, don't they?
They're absolutely beautiful. So it's not so much the colour of them, but just the movement. And I wouldn't say they're unusual, but you don't see many tanks in with sea fans in there.
I think it makes it look more realistic, though, doesn't it, the reef?
Yeah, absolutely. So
really cool.
Yeah, so as I say, tickets are available. I was really lucky because we was only going to have about 4 different vendors there. And then when I looked, I thought this room's going to be too small. So we moved to another room, and then I just spoke to different people, and then people said, I'd like to come along. So I'm chuffed with who we got showing on the day. And so it's 100 people. It's 100 people I'm sticking to, because the bit I dread about all of it, it's not the organising it, it's not the setting up and everything, it's selling of the tickets. Not so much even organising the tickets, all the stuff I'm going to have to do on social media to sell the tickets. It is it's quite a lot of, I say a lot of work, it's just a lot of repetitive work. It's got to be done, but you know, I'm hoping, because after the first event, I haven't got to promote it as much as I did for that one, because no one knows me, and I get that, and no one's heard of this. So, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. The actual event on the day itself, I really enjoyed. The run up to it, I did not enjoy, because it was a lot of ag to do everything. But
I've got to remind myself, like, you've organised all these companies, liaise with them all, the tickets, the selling, the venue. Like, you do, one person does the whole event. And that is a hell of a lot of effort.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Obviously, I'm grateful that you put this on, because
you
are a one-person band, and it's hours of work. I wouldn't do it. Yeah. If I'm being honest, I wouldn't do it.
It is a lot of work, and I do it before I start work. So a lot of it I do early in the morning, but it's my choice because I enjoy it. On the day, I've got some great people that help me. So Jill, my wife, she was along on the day.
Yeah, she ran the day, to be fair, actually.
And some of the others, and they're all well organised. So Chris, she does.
She does from the day, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. And so she'll be there again, and she'll help with on the door and selling raffle tickets, and meeting Chris down there tomorrow just to look at the hall and lay out all the hall, because I now got to say, well, how much space does everyone want? And I've got there's some things we're going to do in a really big hall that will be different. So yeah.
Can I request the pick and mix on the door? Does that include in the ticket price?
Well, it was included last time, and actually the pick and mix went down very, very well.
You know what? I love that. It's a nice little touch. Yeah, I didn't know if to say it or not, because it kind of forces you to do it now, doesn't it? But
well, it does.
But I thought, you know what? That's a nice little touch, and it kind of brightened up my day. I mean, I was having a good day anyway, but it brightened up my day.
I tell you what I found, because there were some people that came from all over the place, including yourself. And when you get to places, sometimes you need a bit of a sugar fix. The whole point of that was you go back, and all of a sudden people got the munchies. And all of a sudden, then people start bouncing around. And there's some people in the room you don't want bouncing around more than they usually do. But it does get people bouncing, because you do have a sugar rush. It's no good for me, because my bloods will go through the roof. So I don't touch them. But for most normal people, should we say, as you get out of the car, if you just travelled, having a bit of a sugar fix. But then you walk right past the CAF, and the CAF does some really nice stuff. So there's not a shortage of food either. And also, you can actually order the food on the app, so you can reserve it on for a certain time via the app. So you haven't got to go and queue up, which is pretty good as well. And there'll be enough breaks during the day that people can just come in and go as they please, getting food when they want. So
I didn't realise that. I don't know what it's doing. I just queued up with some fellow reefers, and we just had lunch together. It's quite nice, because you see so many people on Instagram, and you'll just start chatting, and then they give you their Instagram name. You're like, oh, and you kind of realise who you're talking to then, because at first you don't know, do you? So we had a bit of lunch with a couple of other reefers as well. But yeah, it was a great day. But if you missed it, Steve, Love2reef, I made a video on my channel. It's got loads of adverts. Watch them all, and then watch the video.
Let's see it.
What?
Oh, let's see it.
Oh, nice one, mate. Thanks.
But go and see it again.
Yeah, I put
a shameless
thumbs up, mate.
If you want to watch it.
Put a thumbs up, mate. Yeah. No, I can't wait, mate. I'm looking forward to it, and I echo everything what Jay's just said. Like, it's I couldn't even it's not a case of that I wouldn't want to do anything like. It's just that I couldn't. I don't think I could actually do it. You know what I mean? All that work that goes into it, the time, the effort. You know what I mean? And the organisation of it. It's just, definitely commend you, mate, because it's definitely hard, that for sure. You know what I mean? I commend you, and I can't wait to go. Obviously,
great.
You know what I mean? It'll be good to meet up again. Because I know, Steve, we had a better time. Only about 25 minutes it was when I was up there watching the football, and I see different people, different time, but to get us in the same room for a whole day would be will be fantastic.
Oh, it'd be great, mate. Yeah, can't wait.
One of the highlights for me was Paul and Laura's talk. Their talk bit was brilliant. You know, their Q&A. I thought that was really good because both of those know their stuff. But like Paul from AAC, I could listen to him all day. To be fair, just find him interesting.
Yeah, he's brilliant. So we're going to do a Q&A again, and Paul will be there, and probably some of the other people there. So probably have Brian doing the Q&A as well from TMC. So he's good. He's good value as well.
Look forward to meeting them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So just going to go through some of the comments, if I may. There we go. I can see Jay thinking about taking his own Yorkshire tea bags. Harlow is the Essex Las Vegas.
It's a new holiday destination for Steve, isn't it, Steve?
Hey, I tell you what, mate. There's a few bars there, mate. A few bars there. I'll be hitting.
I don't think there is there?
I don't know Harlow that well, but Paul Hughes will send you in the right direction.
It's got to be a pub, mate.
Oh yeah, there's going to be. Yeah, of course there is. Yeah,
got to be a bar down there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everywhere. Don't wear your Man U shirt, you'll be all right.
What's that? So we need to get on the exhibit list from Mick. I think Mick, we need to catch up.
Oh yeah, they're gonna get on the list. Get on the exhibit list. Have an extra one there.
Yeah, there you go. We will see. Not good enough to be on the list. Oh yeah, thumbs up. Yes, please. If you could do thumbs up, that would be greatly appreciated.
Thanks, Hazel.
And that's about it.
She's a good one, isn't she? Rallying the troops.
She certainly is. So that's it. That's it on Love2reef. Now I've got all the hard work to do, but yeah, I enjoy it, and that's the reason why I've done a small event. So go on.
Yeah, I've not even seen Dripping Reef. Dripping, the guy who always asks, he's not even in it. Wait, come on, are you still here? He's still here. He's not even here, is he?
He was here earlier. He only comes usually to basically ask the question, what's happening with Love2reef? Now he knows what's happening. He's not coming back.
He's cleared off now. He's gone.
Yeah,
he's absolutely gone. If you need any help at all, you know me. If you need any help, just ask Steve. He'll help you.
Yeah, thanks for that.
I'm busy. I might try and make another video though on the day. I might try and do that.
That would be good. That would be good.
Unless Steve's making one.
I'll leave you to the filming, mate. It's no problem. Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Did a good one last time, mate. Yeah. You done well.
Thank you, buddy.
Well done, Paul. I'm sure it'll be worth the effort watching everyone follow. Yeah, actually, I did. It was, I mean, actually on the last one, the time goes really quick because I'm buzzing around organising. Obviously, I was introducing different people, but the feedback was really good. So I was really chuffed with what people said about the event, the fact that people do message me virtually every week or every 3 or 4 days. I get a message when you're going to do a new event, blah blah blah. So yeah, it was worth it to be fair. And also, up until recently, there isn't really that many events, but I'm hoping that we'll get some decent events this year. Hopefully, this one, 64 days and counting. Brilliant.
So that's not going to stress you out, is it, Paul? But
no, not at the moment. He might do in about 30 days.
64. I'm going to do it every live stream. Just
thank you.
Every live stream.
The countdown.
We need an advent calendar for it. That's what we need.
Yeah, that's all I need. So yeah, there's that one, and then there's the one in November, isn't there, in Holland? And we'll probably be going to that. And then we've got the one up in Telford, which I know Mickey Boy and Nick's going up, they're showing there.
Yeah,
so to get 2 events, and I know there's a lot of LFS have different things, but to have more and more events in the UK just be fantastic, I think, for the hobby and for people to talk and to connect as well is what we need, really.
Yeah,
because people say everything about America and blah 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 and all of that, but it's a much bigger hobby, and events are far more established. Events are not established at all. You get LFS doing stuff, and I get it, but it's not the same as having an event offsite. No. I don't think, anyway. From what I've been to a few LFS ones that have been good. Don't get me wrong. You can't beat the events I've been to, certainly where you go to a hall and it's all set up and everything else.
Mm.
Will there be translation for north of Watford? Is that the Watford Gap or Watford? There's usually quite a few Northerners there, Steve, so you won't be out of place if you're north of Watford. And there's a load of Northerners living in London, so definitely not a foreign accent, shall we say?
To be fair, there was probably more Northerners there when I went than the Southerners. Probably.
What's that?
I think they kind of took over.
There was a good mix of people. So there was a good few people from South Coast as well.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few people that travelled already. A few people said
is
they're coming.
Carl in the chat? Is he going? He was good value last
Carl
time.
said I haven't spoken to Carl because I haven't put anything on social media yet. But I think he said before if there was another one, he would go. He's probably, I don't know if he was out in the cab tonight, he'd probably be in, because usually when he's in the cab, he's
he's normally
he's probably out DJing somewhere.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But yeah, I'll have a ticket, Paul. So don't get rid of mine, please.
No, I'll put you down. And Steve, I'll reserve you too, mate. Just let me know.
What about the other amigo? Where is he going to come or not?
No, Ross. I think from the conversation earlier this week, he's going to a wedding. I think.
Yeah, is that a wedding, isn't it?
Is he? I think he is. So he's not. He was going to go. Then I think.
Is that a wedding that weekend?
Yeah, he is. So I don't think he's overly inflicted about not. I think he wanted to go. No, he can't.
Yeah.
But he can't because of the wedding.
It's a shame. Yeah, he was going to fly down because Stansted Airport is only 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
In a car.
Yeah.
So not far at all. So actually, the journey for him wouldn't have been that long. Actually, he probably would have got there quicker than you, Steve.
It would have been quicker than Steve.
It's an hour in the car.
I might. You know what? I might actually check into that and see how much it is on a plane to go down there. Might even be cheaper.
Manchester to London, Stansted, I don't think.
Manchester to Stansted, yeah.
Do they do that? That's a bit short to get a plane up and down.
It's not that you can.
Yeah,
You can get planes from the London airports up to the regional airports, up to Manchester. I don't know, Birmingham. You can get Birmingham. You get connections, don't you? People go connections.
Yeah, you could definitely
from
go
Manchester into Heathrow, whether they're going to Stansted.
Manchester to Heathrow,
on the train if that was possible. That's a bit easy.
Yeah, and London City certainly you can get flights. It's a little bit of a pig of a journey really from London
got
City.
So 2 hours check-in and that's the thing.
See, you know, with my company, with my company, my bus company, we get discounts on transport, online. On
you
trains,
drive us all down from the north.
On a bus.
Yeah, on trains and all that, mate. Yeah.
Oh, do you?
Hire the coach, mate. I'll drive it. Hire the coach and I'll drive it.
Have you got the coach license? Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, I can drive anything, mate. Yeah.
So Manchester, Sheffield, Derby pick up, and then Birmingham or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah.
Nottingham.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That'd be good.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, done it. Driven a coach from London to
what?
I said Paul hasn't got that much to do, so he can sort out a bus as well.
Yeah, thanks for that one. I'm actually now booking everyone's travel as well. So I'm a travel agent, book the hotel, and there's your ticket. So it's an all-inclusive package. Is that what you want me to do?
Do you know what?
No. Not gonna happen. You said you can help. You could do that. You could be the travel agent.
Travel it. Okay. Come to me. I've got an auto reply on my Instagram at the moment.
What? Bugger off.
It says, I don't know where Ross is.
Well, he's done the video, so you shouldn't be asked that anymore. Well, not for a little while.
Yeah. God bless him.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Right, I've been asked to put the details back on the screen. I just hope I haven't closed the window. Oh, there we go. Right, Russell.
Here it is.
There it is. And it'll go on to...
He's right.
We're going to Instagram and all that kind of stuff too. I won't have time to do it.
There's a WhatsApp group, isn't there, Paul? Is there a WhatsApp group?
There is. So what happens is those people buy a ticket.
Yeah.
There's a WhatsApp group because one of the things I was really pleased about, there's a frag swap, and you saw it, Jay. There was at least of the 50 people that was there, I would say probably at least 25 took part in the frag swap.
Yeah.
There were people turning up and saying, "I've got all these SPS frags that I don't want." And there were people taking home frags free of charge, and a number of people were taking home SPS. They'd never had SPS before in their tank, and they didn't want to take a risk, but they took them home with them. So the whole point of the WhatsApp group is you can pre-arrange to swap frags with different people. So I swapped a couple of chalice for a couple of pieces of chalice, pre-arranged. So there will be a tank there again that you can pre-arrange through the WhatsApp group. And then there's also if people want to bring frags along that they want to give away to other people or swap on the day and stuff like that. So what was really good, people were getting frags for nothing and then swapping their surplus frags or giving them away. So that went a lot better than I thought it would. And I was surprised how many people actually pre-arranged, and they never met before. So it was great. I was meeting new people and also swapping. And you can do two things. I basically put all my stuff in a poly box and took it to the car because I would have forgotten about it. But you could just leave it in the tank. So the tank's heated. Those people that were giving frags away, some of them were putting them loose into the frag tank, and others they were bagged up at people's requests. So yeah, it worked. It was really good. I was chuffed how that part went.
Yeah, there was loads at the start of the day. I remember seeing them all.
Yeah. So there's a benefit for that. You can get some. Well, you obviously got your price of entry, but you can bag yourself, pardon the pun, a few frags, and some of them free, and others you can swap over. So when people say that people are greedy and selling frags for too much money and blah blah blah, people were really generous on the day.
Absolutely, yeah. It was full to the brim, like I say. The frag bay, or whatever you want to call it, the frag tank, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All the floating bags, and then there was a bit of a buzz around it as well. People swapping and trading. Yeah, it was dead good. I didn't really have. I don't know what I was doing, but I didn't have time to look at that. And I mean, I didn't have anything to swap, to be fair, so I couldn't have done anything. But I assume you can't just take something if you haven't got something to swap.
Well, there was people giving away, so people were actually giving away frags. So in which case you didn't have to swap because people were bringing home SPS. So I know a couple of people already said to me that if it happens again, because they don't know about this event, that what they would do, they bring along some more frags. They got enough surplus frags to bring some more. So it'd be great if people you don't have to. But sorry,
sell the frags. So was it just a frag swap, or was it sale?
It was a frag swap. The aim was that it wasn't for selling really. If people did, then I didn't know about it, but it was really aimed at people coming along and swapping and for giving. I mean, the plan wasn't to give frags away. I took some kit and some other stuff and bits and bats that I didn't want and left it on the table. Some people took that stuff, but I didn't think people would have loads of frags to give away, but they did. Which was great. I wasn't expecting that, but people say, "It's all right if I bring along some Monty and Stylo and blah blah blah," and give them. I say, "Yeah, you go for it." And they were saying in the WhatsApp chat, if people want free frags, they can have this. And people were saying, "Yeah, I'll have a piece of that." So they was actually getting free frags before they was there. But, so
good.
Yeah, got some work to do, but looking forward to it. And be good to catch up as well for us and people in the chat that are coming along and things like that. It'd be absolutely fantastic. So
they're at the graveyard, Steve.
Absolutely.
Take some down.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's it, mate. I'd take it. But like I said, I'll give them. I'll go down. I'll go down obviously on the Saturday. Yeah, I need a bucket for that, mate. I'll definitely bring some stuff down, mate, for sure. Like I said, it's the only thing is I won't be frag swapping because if I'm staying over, I've got nowhere to store them ever, so it won't be. I'll probably just give them away. But yeah, definitely clear that graveyard.
The only thing you could do, what you could do, because it finishes at 3. If you had a poly box, and if you want, I can bring some heat packs along. You could put it in a poly box with the heat pack.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
You might even. It depends on the temperature. You might not need a heat pack, but you could. That'll keep until you get home, and then you're fine.
What the following day?
Yeah,
because people post overnight, don't they?
I send frags all the time. You think if I go to post office 10 in the morning, that might not get there to the 4 the next day.
Yeah,
and that's got a heat pack because sometimes sometimes I pay. I haven't got a choice. I'll go 10 o'clock in the morning, so I haven't got no time other than to post it then. And I know from the time of delivery, sometimes it's been like 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the evening. But I always put a 40-hour heat pack in. Just in case. I mean, I've had stuff when the post office have messed it up and not delivered it to the following day, and it's just about been all right.
Wow.
The water's just all right, the heat pack, but it depends on the time of the year. So you'd be all right with that. Let's face it, you're probably not going to get delicate SPS or anything like
really,
that.
I wouldn't Zoas, really. I want Zoas.
You'd be fine. I don't think you need a heat pack. What I mean? You think that time of year, middle of May, it's going to be indoors. Your Zoas will be fine. People I know people that post Zoas through the post in padded envelopes, in paper and stuff like that, without any heat packs.
True.
Yeah. That's
good call.
Not on a plane, though. John said
yeah.
not on a plane.
No. We're going in a car. We're going in a car, John. Yeah. No. If that's obviously we're going in a car. But yeah.
Is John coming from? Is he going to make his way from Skegness? Steve will pick you up on the bus, by the way. He's going to go around everywhere.
He's going to go across from west to east.
He's going to do the whole west to east, and then he's going to go south.
He's going to leave on the Thursday.
I tell you, I'll leave on the Thursday. Start picking you up. Yeah. Make sure you pack a packed lunch. Your sleeping bag, and we'll go. Yeah, we'll leave on the Thursday to get there for Saturday. Yeah, so we'll figure some out.
Brilliant.
I'm gonna pick Jay up in Derby on the way there as well. How about that, Jay? I like Jay.
Save some diesel,
well, mate.
Right?
Thank you, mate. Appreciate that.
You can't come back into the Sunday or maybe the Monday because you've got to be stuck on the bus.
I miss work coming back because of that many stops.
Oh dear. Right. So anyway, so what else have we got? So I haven't really talked about much about tanks and what's going on. Reefing's just kind of out the way for a bit. So Jay, I haven't talked about your tank for ages, other than the water change and what's been going on?
Well, I've not been with it really for 2 weeks. I've been away both weekends and back to back, and it's just not really spent much time with it. But all my dosing levels were all running low. So you probably saw on Instagram, I had to have a bit of a splurge on dosing products. So I spent about 110, 120 quid. I think because I bought them all at the same sort of time. And to be fair, I know Steve might take the piss a little bit here, but I've had the original ones for about the last half a year at least. So then I just have to buy them once every half a year or something. But so I bought all new ABC from Red Sea.
So is that the foundation, the ALK, mag, and the
ALK? So they're all 20 quid each. So it's ALK, mag, calcium. And then I've got the Reefs Elements, Amino Plus.
Mm-hmm.
I also have Nitro Plus as well, Reefs Elements, in case sometimes, like today, I've done a big water change and I might find that I've actually just taken a bit too much out.
The nitrates have come down,
So I always have a little bit of liquid nitrates as well, just to top up. So I bought some more of that. I bought some more Dr. Tim's Eco Balance because I love that stuff. I think that was
I keep on meaning to get that, but I keep on forgetting, and not everywhere stocks it. So I probably need to go online and.
I got it all from Kraken. I bought it all from Kraken, to be fair, just as one order, because I think you get free postage if you spend over 75.
A lot of the places used to be 50, now they're 75, and I get it because postage is quite a bit for them. So I get the fact it's got to be worth it for them to do it. And to be fair, it don't take much to spend 75 quid, does it nowadays?
No, not at all. No. And I bought some new filter socks as well because I know not many people use filter socks, but I've used mine from day one. You know, the little, looks like a bloody condom in the Red Sea one. It does.
Yeah. The thing is, though, you haven't got much of a choice. I've got to say, I thought that was quite reasonable. $8.99 for two of them, which I thought were quite cheap because I've got 3 for this. I'll probably buy another couple because what I tend to do, once I've used them all, they then go into the washing machine for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then I dry it because the reason why I do it on 2 cycles. The first cycle is to make sure there's no detergent in there, and then a 2-hour cycle to clean it. I've always done that, and they come up really clean.
Yeah.
I always used to put when I used to have the filter socks, I used to put mine in bleach. You know, just the normal Dettol bleach, the blue with no scent in it. Yeah. Stick it in one of the buckets, hot water, give it a good whisk up, and stick them all in there, and then literally leave them in overnight. Yeah. And then the following day, take them out, rinse them under the hot water, under the tap, rinse them, smell them, and you can smell the bleach has completely gone out of them, yes. Rinse them, leave them in boiling hot water for another hour or 2, and it's gone, mate. And I used to, that is exactly how I used to clean them all. And they were like, come out spotless. They look like they were brand new, mate. Never bought hardly. I had 6 or 7 of them.
You need to have
never bought
rotate. I was you ever washing them. So I when I bought the tank, I had loads, and I bought some. So I don't use them anywhere near as much as I used to because I only got the Red Sea Reefer 170. That is one of them. But I save them all up and stick them in the washing machine for 2 or 3 hours, and then they're as good as gold. And then let them dry off, and then that's it, and they're ready. But I think the filter socks and that, because they're quite long as well, aren't they? So actually, I think they last quite a while. They're better than the ones on the bigger tanks because I think they're more substantial for the size of tank. So I actually think they're pretty good, those ones.
I love running mine. It catches all just the big bits because I use the 225 micron, so the obviously small particles get through, because I want to make sure that, because I've got quite a lot of amphipods at the back, because every time I pull my sock out, they're all like hanging on to it. So I always knock them off to make sure they stay in the tank. But I want to make sure that some food gets through to them, and so I get the 225 one. But I think they're great. But I don't tend to wash them. I just like wash it out in some clean salt water, and just rinse it out in there, and then put it back in. And then after about a month, I'll just buy a new one, which is a bit ridiculous, really. But
I'd wash them. I mean, they are cheap, but you could wash them out easily.
I'm worried about energy too. I mean, that bleach idea, that just scares the
hell
out of me.
It works, mate. 100%. Yeah, I swear to God. I did it all the time, mate, and I never had anything go wrong with a tank. Ever. You can smell it straight away. But as long as it's not just the normal, the normal blue bleach, the normal that with no scent in it or anything like just the normal one, We're not talking tons here. We're talking like a squeeze, like a squeeze in a bucket. Hot water, let it foam up and stick them in and leave them in overnight, and then rinse them under the hot water, put them in boiling hot water, back in the bucket, leave it for an hour, and they come out, and then just take them out, put them on the thingy and dry them out, and trust me, mate, they come out like brand spanking new, mate. They look literally as if you just pulled them out of the packet, and I never had an issue with them, ever. You know what I mean, mate? So it worked. It definitely worked, but like some people are scared, aren't they? What bleach? What you did bleach?
The key is though, Steve,
it's not, mate.
If you let it dry, the bleach evaporates. Yeah. So this rock here was soaked in bleach for 7 days to clean it all out, and then it was left out in an area till it dries out. Once it's dry, there'll be no smell of bleach on there once it's dry, because the bleach just evaporates. So you find people that have, if they've got old rock and stuff like that. Part of the cure process is to put I think it's 7 parts water to 1 part bleach, if I remember rightly. I put it in a tub, left it there for a week, then rinsed it off. Did I rinse it off? I don't even think I rinsed it off. I just left it, and it was over the summer, so left it in the shed and just dries, and it's fine. It's good as gold, and you can use it, and there's no issue with it at all. And of course, then you'd find it if there was, because when you test your ammonia would be through the through the roof. There was no, I had no signs. Not as if there was a little bit there to kickstart the cycle. The ammonia was 0 when I put it into the tank. But that's what I do. But I must admit, for years I've used the washing machine 1 cycle to make sure there's no detergent left in it, and then 2 hours clean, and it's I don't know, it's a lazy way, but it's worked for me over the years. But I must admit, Jay, I wouldn't bother kind of buying new ones every month. Even if you just rinse them out under the tap, you'd get them clean, a lot cleaner. They'd be not as good as new, but they'd be good enough to reuse.
And he slags me off about me buying my heaters. What's all that about? It's all about waste. I know. That's wasting that, isn't it, every month? And he's filter sock every month.
Yeah, but they're only
you gotta be ashamed of yourself.
I'm with you, Steve. Hid that one, didn't he?
Yeah, appreciate that, Paul. Yeah,
terrible.
Yeah, but look at that. Look at that though. All that waste, mate. Waste.
Brand spanking new one ready to go.
It'll take decades to decay that in waste, mate.
That's a good point.
Decades for it to waste.
In 1,000 years, someone was saying there's Jay's
it's still
filter
there.
sock.
Yeah, there's Jay's filter sock there. I watched it on YouTube.
All that sustainability.
You know what? Actually,
he doesn't walk the talk, does he, Steve?
Oh my God!
He doesn't walk the
talk. You've got a good point here. You've got a very valid point, because it is plastic.
I know. Almost lost for words, Steve. Almost lost for words.
Don't mind it. At least I keep my heaters, don't I? I keep my heaters here, mate. You know what I mean? Whenever you want to borrow one, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, for God's sake! Well, you've convinced.
Never mind, Jay.
I'll sort my habits out. I've got a bad habit there, basically.
Yeah. So what else? What else you do with the tank that really isn't sustainable, and you haven't told us?
Well, nothing else actually. Everything else is fully sustainable. You can check out if you come round. Door will be locked. Anyway, so that's me filter sock. So I did a little shop. Nothing else has happened really. Corals are doing well. Everything's growing nicely. I clean my sand bed because I don't like when you see all that green stuff around the edge.
Yeah.
I clean my sand bed a bit today. Yeah, everything's just ticking over nicely. Nothing's causing a problem. It's not nano reefing. Once you get it stable, it's a bit of a doddle, really.
It's a routine, isn't it? Yeah, and I've got to say, when I do a 10-litre change in it's so easy.
Yeah.
It's it takes hardly any time to do the water change. And of course, Steve, he does his water change with a blink of an eye.
Well, yeah. His
Exactly, mate.
His 80 hours is water change.
Exactly.
He's got that thing.
Mate. When it's working, yeah, absolutely, mate. 100% there, yeah. When it's working, yeah. Like you said, you know what? It's. I mean, I've got to admit, I've always said, like, if I do get like another like a smaller tank, a nano tank, or which I think I will do all the time. It's just like I said, it's not buying the tank. It's like everything that goes with it, innit? That's what we say all the time, innit? The extras, the light, the skimmer. You get one with a sump, and I mean, I've got a skimmer. Don't get me wrong. I suppose I could use that and stuff. I've got more than enough heaters. And I bought one of Jay's filter socks, but never mind all of that. Yeah, we could always. You still got.
So you don't have it on.
It's called recycling, Jay. Recycling. But come on, Jay. You're not like that. You're not like that. But yeah, I don't know. I keep saying to the missus, I'm all, like starting off a new tank and if I did do a smaller one, I would go a different path, and I would do water changes. And I know in my head what I would do. I'll do water changes, yeah. And I would. That is the only thing I would do is like water changes and those like say one, one specific brand. And
like
not change.
An Love2reef kind of thing. Nice and simple.
Yeah. Just a simple. Yeah. Simple reef, yeah, just see where we go from there. You know what I mean? And see like the difference between my tank now, what I've got without water changes and stuff, and just see, just like compare it. I think it would be a good experiment just to see. You know what I mean? But one with water changes and one without. You know what I mean?
The thing is, though, Steve, you've got to go through that whole 12-month period. Getting the tank stable. I mean, Jay,
for sure.
We first started on here, and we first started talking and everything else, and the levels were going all over the place in your tank, and so with Ross. Yeah. It's a combination of the experience that you get and the experience of the tank, isn't it? And how that matures, and as you both grow, it becomes easier, and you get into, as you say, your routine with your checklist is really helpful, isn't it? The tank lacks that as well, doesn't it?
And every tank, the more you learn or watch in this hobby, more that every tank is actually very unique and very different. And it's very hard to replicate someone else's setup exactly, isn't it? And get the same results. So if you set up a different tank, Steve, even with like your wealth of success, you might find that it's quite tricky at first, right? Because it's
there's no doubt about it, mate. I mean, exactly like you said, every tank is different, and that's what we say. Yeah. What works for me or you might not work. What works for me might not work for you, and might not work for Paul. And this is what we always say all the time: is like, we can give advice what works for us, but it doesn't mean it's going to work for Joe Blogs out there. You know what I mean? And that's the difference.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the way I'll always look at it. You know what I mean? And stuff. But like exactly like you said, Jake, just because my tank in my living room is doing good, and it basically lives, it does its own thing, doesn't mean the next one. The next one might be a total disaster. You know what I mean? You just don't know. You know what I mean?
It goes for ups and downs.
Yeah, for sure.
So of all the tanks I've had, this is I've got algae on the sand, and I've had algae on the sand for probably like 2 or 3 weeks, and I've struggled to get rid. I'm not fussed. The corals look absolutely, they look really, really good because they've got the nutrients. And all the acans are puffed out, the bubble coral. I'm really happy with the coral, so I can live with it. And eventually it will burn out, and eventually I'll get rid of it. So I just forget about it. And I'm not OCD anyway, so it doesn't really bother me. I'd like to get rid of the algae, and I will get rid of it. But I had the 5 foot there, and I don't think I had algae like this in the whole 6.5 years it was set up. And that was in a 5 foot tank. I've got more algae in a bloody whatever it is 1.5 foot than I had in a 5 foot tank. And it's in the same place, as you can see. You think, what the hell's going on? But it was, am I fussed? Not really, because the coral, if the tank looked great and the corals look crap, I'd be upset.
Yeah, that's it.
And the fish look really nice, and the nems are not moving around as much as they was, which I got used to them moving around, but now they're kind of staying in place. So the corals look good. And if their corals look good, you can't really argue with that. The rest of it is just really easy on the eye, isn't it? I would say.
That's exactly what it is. It's just like aesthetics in it. It's what we see every day, isn't it? You know what I mean? And you know, I mean, sometimes, like you said, sometimes like I'm going through a bit of an issue with my tank, you know, at this moment, where like my yellow coral, you know, the big yellow coral is like started to lose its colour. Now I've sat down and I thought about it, you know, and I'm like, well, why is this losing colour here? Yeah, what have I changed? Now I've changed nothing really in the tank, you know what I mean? Yeah, dosing wise, it's all been going for months, you know what I mean? So we're all good there. But then it came back to me, and it only came back because Phil said to me, has there been any changes and all that? And I was like, well, no, not that I can remember, no. And then I realised that the salinity, remember my salinity dropped, and it dropped to 1.021.
Yeah,
and he said, especially with SPS, it doesn't happen straight away. It can happen.
There's a lag, isn't there? There's a lag on SPS.
There's a lag with SPS.
I think
that's the only thing, mate. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking that's exactly what it could be.
That's a fair
because
point.
Everything else is fine. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully it's not dead because there's still colour to it and the polyps are still out, but it's just lost some of its yellow. And yeah, it's very, very, very confusing and thing. But that's the only thing it can be. You know what I mean? But it is what it is.
Right. We've run out of time. Good time.
Paul.
If we had finished it on the nose, he would have missed us.
That's a joke. Gotta be. He's got to have been in the chat before then.
I don't know if he has. But good to see you, Paul. You've caught the best last minute of the show.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about AAC earlier as well.
We have talked quite a lot about the coral trays and the guys coming down for the Love2reef and everything else. So you've obviously met Jay Paul and you'll meet Steve as well back in May. But there we go. So we are out of time and late as ever. Yes. So next week we are with Steve. Thank you all for joining. Really appreciate all the comments, all the feedback, and also for Johnny joining us earlier on. If any of you are interested in Love2reef, then drop me a line on Instagram, probably the best place to catch me. And bye for now, and we'll see you all next week. So thank you for joining.
Yeah, thanks.
Cheers, all.
Thanks, guys.
Bye for now.
Take care.